To start off tying the atoms, we're going to be setting the position where to tie in the wings. So to do that, wind your thread till you're halfway along your hook shank, and where you've just tied, come back halfway between the halfway point of the hook shank and the eye of the hook. Trim off the excess. Alright, for the wings, select two similar sized hackle tips. And I've used two saddle hackles here, which I thought I wasn't going to use again because I'd used the ends for hackles. But I just basically took these out and I trimmed the ends to make them nice and round and blunt at the end. I just find that this profile really suits the Adams winging material. So once you've got your feathers, turn them so the shiny side is facing towards each other, and they should splay out like they do here. Alright, to size up the wingtips, just pull back any excess hackle towards the rear like that, and then you should end up with hackle tips the same length as your hook shank. So once you have them, put them on top of the hook shank, slide them over to where your thread is, and then with turns of thread, secure them on top of the hook shank. Like so. Alright, so once you've attached the wings, trim off the excess, and at this stage just with your thread cover up those exposed quills, then just put your thread to about halfway on the hook shank. Alright, for your tail, select a bunch of hackles, and I'm just using hackles here from a rooster cape. If they're a little bit uneven, just pull them so they're nice and even at the ends. So at this stage, just with a couple of turns of thread, just position them onto the hook shank. Don't need to size them up at this stage, just leave them there like that. Okay, so now I've just pulled off another bunch of tail hackles, and these are grizzly hackles. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to line them up with the brown ones, so position them on top so the ends are aligned with the brown ones, like so. Once they're aligned, with the other hand, hold them together and start unwinding the brown hackles. Lift them up carefully, and if you hold them together, they should be nicely aligned. Okay, we're going to be tying this bunch of hackles for the tail, but before we do, just trim the ends off so they're nice and neat, like so. Now what we have to do is we have to measure them up, so make sure that they're the same length as the hook shank like we have here. Bring them over to the bend of the hook, and with your thread start wrapping in consecutive tight turns towards the bend of the hook until you get to the barb. And you should have a nice tail like that. And the closer those fibres are, or hackles are together, the stronger the tail is and the better the dry fly will float. Alright, for the body we're going to be dubbing on some Adams Grey dry fly dubbing. You can use dubbing wax, but I just find this stuff really fine, so it just makes it easy to dub onto the actual thread. So just keep rubbing it in one direction like I'm doing here. Remember, always put it on a small amount. It's always easier to add than to take away dubbing, okay? Just makes it the body look a lot better, and it's just, you want that nice tapered effect when you have that, or when you form that body. Now that we have the dubbing, let's start forming the body. So just start off where the tail begins, and then just with each wrap go hard up against the previous wrap, and you should form a nice tapered body like we have here. So keep going forward, and when you get to about halfway along the hook shank, should stop the dubbing there. Alright, now that we've formed the body, now's a good time to fix up the wings. So what I like to do here is just do some wraps hard up in front of the wings, and that will keep those wings up like they do there. If so, you can just manipulate them with your fingers a bit. You can see there how they're nicely staying up already. Now you may notice there's a little bit of extra hackle here. What I like to do in this instance is just get your your thread, just with a couple of turns of thread, get those wings out of the way, and just very carefully remove the hackle, that excess hackle. Okay, just like that, and might be some around here as well. Just get that thread out of the way, and you can see there how it just nicely gets the hackle out of the way. So just unwind those wings, and you can see there that they're looking good. Now to keep them apart, you may want to do some figure of 8 wraps as well. So just do that a couple of times, just like so. And you can see there how those wings are looking pretty good. Alright, to tie in the hackle part, we're going to be using, again, like we did for the tail, a combination of grizzly and brown hackles, right? Now, when you're tying in hackles for a dry fly, you want to make sure that they're the best quality you can afford. So that means that the hackles are stiff and that they're webbing free. And also it's important when you're having two like this that they're the same size, so the same hackle size, and that the hackles themselves are in proportion to the hook that you're using. Okay, so one way I like to check, you want those hackles to be about 1.5 times the gape of the hook. So you can see there it's about 1.5 times. So you can do that without actually destroying the feather. Okay, so if you ever want to test, there's a quick way of doing it. Alright, to attach the hackles, so with the shiny side of each feather facing towards you, just like to put it on a bit of an angle, as you can see there, and secure the stems with turns of thread behind the wings. So keep doing that, make it nice and tight, and where those exposed stems are at the front, just keep going a bit, and that just locks that in place. Okay, so starting with the hackle on top, start turning the hackle behind the wings, so say about 3 wraps, and also get those wings out of the way, a couple in front like so. Now just secure it with a couple of turns of thread, and now do the same with the other hackle. So just 1, 2 turns of thread like that. If you wish, just get those wings out of the way as you put them in front. A couple in front, and again secure with turns of thread. Just like that. Alright, so be careful now as you remove, just get the tips of your blades on there. Like so. Of course you don't want to cut your thread. Just use your thumb for extra stability there. So once you've done that, you're ready for the whip finish. Okay, so now for the whip finish. It's always a tense time. I want to make sure that that thread doesn't slip off. A couple of turns there. Use your thumb Then just tighten it like that. Finished product with head cement applied. The Adams Dry Fly.